go. Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 402 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the #1 live podcast in Canada. We're recording on August 14th, 2023.
We need your help, but not as much as we did last time when I forgot to update the intro for Andrew. But to support the show, you can visit our Patreon, so patreon.com/CPP, and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. You can also show that you're not a communist and buy a CPP t-shirt for just $24.99 plus shipping and mandatory government theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com, our homepage, and follow the link on the right.
That brings us to my favorite part of the show. It's called What Are We Drinking? And also things that we have completed recently on the Patriot Challenge. As is tradition, we'll start with Liz. Liz, what are you drinking?
I am drinking peach apple hard cider from Shale Ridge, which is a local vineyard. So,
I am excited, and I will not go any further into that commentary.
It does sound delicious.
it is.
Sounds good.
We did a wine tour there, and really, when I say wine tour, we sat around in like giant adult swings and drank wine and ate stone whatever cooked pizza, fire something cooked pizza. It was really good.
You want to get really autistic about the bricks that were used? I'm sure Peter would appreciate that.
Please describe the bricks.
I have no
I
idea.
know,
It came out of the kitchen.
Yeah, in excruciatingly detail.
Came out of the kitchen. Can't help you.
What sort of mortar was involved?
Well, it tasted a little, this or that. I don't know. You guys are weird. Anywho.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we
400 episodes. It's very clear.
are.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you in now? 50? 60? You've been here a while. You fall into the weird category.
I started just after the trucker convoy, kind of mid-February. I guess that was it, when we kind of all, were fired up. I somehow landed.
To be
this
fair,
day.
I've been fired up since the last election.
I was gonna say I have been.
No, the last election.
The last
Yeah.
change of government?
Yeah. Oddly enough, some 402 episodes ago-ish, give or take.
Do you ever get so mad at the government you start ranting about it on the internet?
Yes.
I did
right.
that for a bit, and I got called all sorts of things. And I wasn't even like ranty. I was a lot more sarcastic. I got called fascist enough that I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Get used to it.
I mean,
It's not
I
my
really need to
favorite
figure out how to make drops
moniker.
work again so I can play Erica in the background.
Uh,
Yeah, eventually you just lean into it. Just go, yeah, you're right. I am.
yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird time for me. If I was to experience the same things a year and a half ago, I guess now, that I did then, I would give much less cares. Much less.
We call that growth.
Oh. Some call it giving up.
I mean,
No.
apathy is a thing.
Yeah. I'm okay with it though.
Also, not caring about the opinions of lesser individuals.
You know what I would say it is though, is actually that, and it's a form of apathy, but it's not realizing that there may be lesser individuals.
But yeah, this is the thing. You should be
Very
concerned
revelatory.
with the opinion of the people, of those that you care about or look up to.
There
People
you
within your own group, within your tribe, not people on the internet that tell you you're a fascist.
Well,
Yeah.
Because
a
the argument
couple of
is
these people
yes,
happened to
and.
be in my group of friends at the time.
Well,
No longer
at the
friends.
time. Yeah, see, so
Yeah.
you've outgrown them.
It happened.
Yeah, what is it? Wolves should never, something about, care about the opinions of sheep or something like that.
I thought there was two wolves inside of you.
That too.
Yeah, good.
But
wolf
they don't
info.
care about the opinions of sheep.
I see.
We're definitely mixing up multiple fables here, but
As we do.
we're all getting
yeah.
to the same point.
Yeah.
It's a good gig. Okay, so Patriot Challenge.
Delicious cider and then Patriot Challenge. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Patriot Challenge, I am not doing as good as I need to be doing on. This past week, I was
Would you like
ill.
some motivation? Should I check in with you? Do you need a Patriot buddy? Should I check in with you
Well,
on a regular basis?
I can
I mean,
send you
I'm
some
always
sweet
down for
Jocko
a
hype
little bit.
tracks. Yeah,
What did you say, Gavin?
there's some sweet Jocko hype tracks by like Akira the Dawn with like
They're not
audio
that good.
overlays. Yeah, but
No,
That doesn't sound appealing at all. But
it's
I don't know.
not.
Anyways,
Uh,
I mean, I'm always down for a little like, public shaming to get my ass in gear. But I was
I
actually
was going to shame you
this past week.
publicly. I was just going to, private message you,
Yeah.
slide into your DMs, as it were.
yeah.
Ask you if
Okay.
you worked out today.
I'm down for like
Did you drink
positive
some water? Oh,
reinforcement.
you're down for people sliding into your DMs?
You heard it, folks.
Eh. This doesn't. You know what my DMs are for? Where all of my female friends who are around the same age as myself, where we share like memes like mad. That's really all we do. That's it.
Yeah. So
And
it's
we have a
similar to the
great time
messages that
laughing.
Andrew and I send back and forth to one
Mhm.
another.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's whatever.
maybe.
Anyhow, Peter, you're next.
Oh,
By
we
the way,
didn't find
I
out
can
what
see
you
your
did on the
sunburn
Patriot
from here.
Challenge.
Nothing. That's why she needs
Oh.
us to shame her
Yeah,
publicly. Yeah.
I was gonna say, didn't you just hear me? I was like, I don't think I officially completed, like, my life is, on track and stuff like that. But if I was to create a checklist, hence the Patriot Challenge,
Right.
I probably wouldn't be able to, confidently tick anything completely off. So
Okay. Peter, how about you, buddy?
here, you and your sunburn nose, what's going on, bud? We can see it from here.
Yeah.
I can feel it from
This
here.
is-
Yeah, I'm
I
maybe a
can't
couple
feel it,
provinces
so
away,
is
but
that a
like
good thing?
there is
Yeah.
a distinct triangle happening there.
Yeah, I work outside. It happens.
I don't, I'm white.
Yes.
Yes, I know. Pale.
I will be drinking whiskey and ginger beer as soon as I go make one.
Nice.
I was just waiting to get through the intro. I've been doing some reading and drinking a lot of water. I guess my work is kind of exercise, but that's pretty much it for me for Patriot Challenge. It's been a busy summer. So
Good.
You're
Yeah,
busy
This is
though?
good.
yeah, good busy, just busy.
Fair.
So
Get that.
Well, Um,
yeah,
I'm drinking the Pepsi Zero Cherry and some Gentleman Jack this evening. Classing it up a little bit, but still keeping it pretty ghetto with the Pepsi Zero Cherry. So, doing that. Patriot Challenge. I too have been slacking a little lately, but I was out shooting over on the weekend, did some long-ish distance shooting up at the base, tiny little targets, 400-ish yards off of weird, unstable props and things like that. So, good time. Keeping that skill going. Could
Right
do
on.
more. Andrew, what are you drinking this evening, sir?
I am drunk. I can't
was gonna
read
say-
or speak.
Yeah.
Speak much?
Not often or professionally.
Yeah.
I am drinking cherry creamsicle ale from Railway City Brewing Company.
I have so many questions about that. So
Yeah, but look at this can art. That's amazing.
okay, so the can is
That.
appealing. The can
Yeah.
is appealing for sure. That's
and
super
and
fun.
beer is delicious.
Okay. I
If
just
you're into,
always
like,
get
fruit-flavored
dubious
beer.
about creamsicle stuff.
Yeah,
That's-
it's
as long
They
as
do-
it's not thick like a Fruity is.
no.
I
And-
like Fruity though,
I don't like Fruity. I
but
don't
it's so
generally
sweet.
like
You have to
fruit
really
beer.
want Fruity.
And
No, it's
I
definitely a
especially don't
dessert
like
beer.
when they do like sour fruit beer. Sour fruit beer is not
Okay.
my jam. But this is like a cream ale type beer that they've, I think,
Cherried.
back sweetened with lactose and cherry. It's kind of got like a milkshake IPA thing going on.
It's different.
Yeah, it's
But you
different.
like
It's-
it?
I wouldn't have a lot of them.
Mm.
A couple for a novelty, But like, if I was going to drink a 6-pack, it would be one of these and 5 of something else.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a session beer, as they say.
It is not a session beer. It has a very particular flavor, but it is like a cream ale, kind of.
That's fun.
It's good. They also make an orange. I like the orange, but they didn't have any stock.
That's the other side of it though. Pretty much everything that is orange creamsicle that is not an actual orange creamsicle lolly or like frozen thing. Yeah.
I don't know.
Either
Right? It
a
doesn't
hit or a
taste quite
win.
rice. Yeah.
It's
Those
like-
Bacardi Breezer ones are deadly, especially
really
when it's real
good?
hot. Oh yeah, like
Yeah. 30 degrees and
yeah, if it's
Yeah.
hot out, oh, I could
cream
crush a
stuff
6-pack of those in no time at all and be hammered.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a thing. On that note, but kind of not, how's the cherry Pepsi going? Because,
That's
like, I
good.
mean, the OG cherry Coke was epic. It
Um,
disappeared for a long time. And
They're
then
both
everything kind of came
back. Yeah, they're both back. I prefer the cherry Pepsi to the cherry Coke,
Do you not
and-
normally drink
and not for
Pepsi, though?
political reasons.
Don't you normally drink Pepsi?
I do. I made the switch because they made comments, or Coke made comments that I didn't
Mhm.
like.
Okay.
But even prior to that, the
Mm,
the cherry Pepsi I thought had a better cherry flavor.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Cool. I'm sorry to interrupt, Andrew. Got
No,
on a
no.
tangent there.
I am all good for tangents, especially about cherries. I
Yeah.
like them in light syrup and put into a cocktail.
Yeah, that too.
I always think back to like Shirley Temples at Swiss Chalet when I was a kid. Those are not
Oh,
real
yeah.
cherries, but
I mean,
I'm
sure
not
they were at
convinced that
one
the cocktail
point.
cherries I'm eating are real cherries either, but whatever. I'm still going to put it in my drink.
yeah.
it's true. It's true. None of them are.
Patriot Challenge stuff. I exercise, I practice skills, I read books, I drink water. I don't really improve my life. I think that's the one thing that I'm lacking. The bicycle riding, cycling.
I was gonna
if you
say the
will.
bicycle riding seems really intense.
The bicycle riding might be my jam. I enjoy
Ah.
rocking and I enjoy biking. And I think for bicycling, cycling. I'm not sure what the appropriate nomenclature is for this sport.
Cycling is correct.
As long as I don't get drop bars or spandex, it's okay. If we start getting
Yeah.
drop handlebars or wearing spandex, we're gonna have to have questions.
You're halfway
Yeah.
there with short shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, regular shorts. I bet.
Yeah.
I do enjoy a good pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Serious big dad energy.
It's got a safety net. It's fine.
Right.
Uh,
The cycling thing is going well. I'm over 650 kilometers since July when I bought the bike.
Well done.
And I've been riding down to Lake Erie and back.
You're gonna have to change your oil soon, man.
Yeah, I think it is time.
Yeah.
Take it into the mechanic and get them to give it a tune up, and
Yeah.
oh, it's been good.
yeah.
I've been
I mean,
riding down to
with
the
fuel
lake. and
prices, you're doing yourself a favor.
Yeah.
It
for sure.
significantly does cut down on my lunchtime walk to the grocery store because now it's my lunchtime cycle to the grocery store.
There you go.
So it's been working out okay. Practice skills, do that all the time. I don't have any new ones. I'm just practicing stuff that I'm already good at, getting better.
Sounds like a plan.
Reading. I finished Operation Red Wings. What's the book? It's Navy SEALs. It's
Navy SEAL books out.
yeah, Gavin should be able to help me out with this though. Operation Red Wings,
Ah.
Afghanistan, like maybe like 14. Lone Survivor.
Yes. Yeah,
Finished
yeah.
Lone Survivor. Started reading a
Thanks, Dave.
thanks, Dave.
It's busy interning in the background.
Mhm.
Well, somebody has to intern, and I guess that's what we're doing. I started reading a Stephen King book though. I'm gonna read Billy Summers, Marine Sniper turned assassin.
Interesting.
So Stephen King seems a little bit out of his depth when it comes to firearm stuff, but if I can get by that, we'll see how the rest of the book is.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Anybody who tells me that they're not putting a silencer on their rifle because it changes what the rifle does, it's not good past 600 meters anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do Stephen King anymore. I tried. That guy is too twisted. No thanks.
I don't know. Well, the rest of the book seems pretty good. I'm having like an autistic struggle with some of the firearm stuff, and of
Yeah.
course, drinking
Well-
lots of water, no problem. Sea cycling.
Yeah,
It doesn't surprise me that Stephen King has a hard time with firearm stuff. He tends to be a little left
I-
of.
yeah.
I know.
Bang.
I just figured when you're like writing a book that's going to get on the New York Times bestseller list, you would have someone like just double
Well,
check
yeah.
some details.
Yeah, you think like his editor would like fact check for him or something, right? Because like,
No,
yeah,
no, he thinks he knows everything. That's
Like
enough.
I'm okay with him saying that he doesn't want to use a silencer. Just don't tell me that he can't use a silencer past 600 meters because it changes the ballistics of the bullet too much. It's like
I mean, it does, but you just re-zero it, and it doesn't
Right, but
change it
that's the
too
thing
much
is,
that you
like,
can't use it.
it
Like,
changes it regardless. It has nothing to do
Yeah.
with the distance. It
So
has
are you-
everything to do with barrel harmonics.
Are you just in general struggling to enjoy this book because
No, there's like 3 or 4 things that
Hyper-focused
like
on-
specifically was like, I need a break from this book because this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm sure it was like Peter reading Gulag Archipelago. That's not how you lay a brick.
Day in the life of
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Evan
yeah.
Solzhenitsyn.
yeah.
Other
Same book.
Solzhenitsyn.
never
It's the same
read
book, just
a
condensed. Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
I've never.
That's
even-
not how you build a brick wall.
I was impressed.
Oh, was
That
it?
is pretty much how
Okay,
you
it
build
was
a frozen
exactly-
brick wall, which has been done many times in Manitoba.
I mean, it's Manitoba. That makes sense.
No.
Shall we get
Yeah.
into some news?
Yeah. That's some things that make sense, don't make sense. I don't know.
The second one.
Well,
Oh,
no,
no.
I mean, the COVID thing is kind of an interesting one. It seems that we now have antibodies through all of the things, and COVID isn't dangerous and deadly anymore.
You're gonna
Can I
find something
can I
else.
read the passage that like I want, and then you can explain to me in
Yeah,
small words with crayons how this works?
Yeah.
All right. So this is from somebody that's a researcher. Hybrid immunity linked to prior vaccination and infection is a robust shield, even more so than just one type of exposure. Swaronski said. I think it's Swaronski. We're going with that. And by that, I mean stronger, longer lasting, and more cross protective against different variants. One Canadian study of healthcare workers in Quebec, published in Lancet Infectious Diseases in January, for instance, found 2 doses of an mRNA vaccine and previous Omicron infection offered substantial protection against future infection from existing Omicron subvariants. That's good news at the population level, but Swaronski warned that seniors remain at the highest risk of severe outcomes even if they've been vaccinated, since many lack the potent protection provided by hybrid immunity, making first-time infections a gamble. LOL, what?
Yeah. I don't know. My favorite part here is this virus is established in the population. It's not going away. We're not going to drive it back into nature. We're just long past the hope. Yeah, but like so are like a bunch of other things. And then at one point they basically go
Like
"It's
the
just gonna
flu,
be-
which
it's
is the
just- they
exact
take-
comparison they
yeah,
make.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like the flu where it will come and go.
I don't understand this hybrid immunity thing. If hybrid immunity is the thing and you're supposed to get your 2 doses of mRNA vaccine, why is first time exposure to the actual virus a gamble?
Yeah, I don't.
I think that
That
it's
seems
just like
a lot
weird.
like exposure to
Yeah.
the virus is a gamble and has nothing to do with vaccines.
There's a weird like double language situation going on.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm specifically like calling
Yeah.
attention to this passage because I'm like, wait, what? But the logic's not logicking over here.
Yeah, but I thought that
That's-
we already decided that logic is not really a thing.
Oh, I
It's
know. I
because
just like-
Andrew, they're not writing it to you. They're writing it to the people who read the CBC, who can't think far enough to tie both shoes, not just one.
Can we just talk about how the CBC is no longer allowed on like places like Meta and how that's kind of exciting?
No,
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
a
actually.
Yes, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. The
I
plus
think
side
it's
is that no
actually
one gets to
terrible.
read this. Yeah.
Well, obviously it's a bad,
Well,
but
it's
it's kind of
because what it's
funny.
gonna do, like the CBC, Toronto Star, all these things that get funded by the government are gonna continue to get government funding.
Yeah.
And be able to exist where they do, where, like on TV and their websites and stuff. But Rebel News, True North, Western Standard, all the independent stuff that like online is the only place where they get exposure. They're gonna be really hurt.
Well, but they're not being blocked on these.
Yes, they
sites.
are.
Well,
You can't find Rebel News on Instagram anymore.
You can't
Oh.
find
Oh,
any of these on.
no.
Yeah, I mean, and
I'm
say what you
so
will about
sad that
Rebel
I
News,
can't
like,
find Rebel News anymore.
well, so
Yeah.
pretty much what happened is that the broadcasting bill or whatever pretty much said
Yeah.
that you have to be like I guess a certified or whatever declared news media propagator by the government in order to be valid and all that kind of stuff. So then all these guys that are like CTV, CBC, CNN, whatever, all the things, they're all the ones. Can you guys hear my dogs like fighting in the background?
No,
No.
Oh, good.
now I want to.
They're little assholes. But
Can we put bets?
uh,
Is that how you use that
Rottweiler,
tree?
for
Yeah.
sure, the female, she is gonna annihilate the other two. But it like, and I think Meta just like decided, oh,
Well, it was
okay,
the online streaming bill. It wasn't the
well, it's broadcasting. It's the broadcasting bill that like integrated into it, and then
no, there's two bills.
I thought that the streaming bill was part of the broadcasting bill. That's what they
It's-
edited in the broadcasting bill.
It's under the CRTC still. Like it's under their purview, but
Okay.
it's the online streaming bill makes
Yeah.
it so that Meta and Facebook, or sorry, that's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
yeah,
Meta and Google, there we go.
Yes.
Have to pay
Yeah,
for people to click
Yeah.
on things,
but it's
but
only
won't.
the government approved
no,
sites. Yeah, I think
No.
so. They
no,
only
because
have to pay the
because
government
Western
approved.
Standard, Rebel News isn't a government approved site and they're also affected by this. Right? And
I don't know if
again,
they're-
say what you will about Rebel News, not a huge fan, but
Oh, I have
Sure.
lots of not.
I'm also just not a
nice
fan
over that.
generally of like censorship though. So anyways, moving on.
exactly.
Tangent.
well, there you go.
But-
But yes, the last other piece I want to touch on this one is the once thought to kill up to 20% of those infected in the early days of 2020.
Like the first 2 days, maybe.
Yeah, that died off pretty quickly. Yeah.
Worst zombie apocalypse
I know,
ever.
Not
Oh,
one actual zombie, like a lot of people that acted like brainless zombies, but not one actual real zombie. It's
that's
very
what all the
sad.
zombie movies got wrong, is that it wasn't gonna be a virus, it was just gonna be people being stupid and not thinking, or not having the ability to think.
And hoarding
They're the
toilet
real
paper.
zombies.
Yeah,
It was pretty anticlimactic. I had higher expectations for Apocalypse.
yeah.
Does
Yeah,
that
that'd
make
be a terrible
Idiocracy a
movie.
zombie movie?
What?
Yes,
Does that make
Yeah.
Idiocracy a zombie movie?
yeah,
I'll allow it.
In 10
Wait,
years.
has
like,
Liz
if we-
never seen Idiocracy? Is that what I'm
Of
getting
course,
from
I
this?
have not seen. I've also not read a Stephen King novel.
You're not
Don't-
missing out on
don't,
that.
yeah,
much.
don't waste.
Yeah. Just watch the
Like,
movie.
zombie
faster.
movie?
Don't even do that.
I don't do that
Yeah.
either. No, there's certain things that I'm like, there was a Stephen King movie filmed just down the road for me, and I'm like, or part of it, and I'm like, I don't get the thrill at all. Not appealing to me. Anyhow, zombies also probably not going to watch a movie unless it's like a funny one.
Zombieland?
Idiocracy is hilarious.
Yeah, Idiocracy is hilarious.
Okay.
But by Peter's definition, it's a zombie movie.
Okay.
I'll allow
I stand
it.
by it.
Terry Crews is the president. It's worth a watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sold. Sold.
Make sure you get your electrolyte water when you watch it.
Okay.
Gatorade. It's what plants crave.
Oh. Okay. Sure. Okay. Anyways, moving on.
Anyways, moving on.
There's a virus. This article pretty much is just trash.
Yeah,
And-
that's
Yes.
why I included it.
Yeah, I love that. I'm pretty sure that's what we do whenever we're on here is talk smack
If-
about
yeah,
trashy journalism.
If
Oh, did you want to
If-
talk smack about trashy journalism? Boy, do I have a story for you.
yeah,
Okay. I'm down. I'm always good for a good story.
Gavin included a link to a CBC article.
Yeah,
Polar Conservative Party embracing language of mainstream conspiracy theories. This is actually written by the Canadian Press, not attributed to an individual author, just attributed to the Canadian Press, which is a wire service.
also, if it's mainstream, is it still a conspiracy?
I suppose that's the difference between being mainstream and being a mainstream conspiracy. Because like Bigfoot is a mainstream conspiracy.
Fair.
So, okay.
Bigfoot in like the lower mainland could just be some guy in Surrey. Fuck Surrey.
Reading the same one? I'm
Yes,
reading
Polar
the
Bear-
World Economic
Yeah.
Forum one.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
did I miss one?
Okay.
No. It's this is the headline though is Poilievre's Conservative Party embracing language of mainstream conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Right. Which
Yeah,
so
but
my,
it's-
That's
my
the
like,
panic.
shoddy
I know,
journalism
but
piece
that's
that
the
I
thing
want to go
now.
to.
Yeah.
Well, let me do the shoddy journalism piece first, then we can do the other thing.
Well, it's continue with your story. It's just
So it's attributed to the Canadian Press, not a journalist, not a like specific
Okay.
author. But this is on every news outlet in the
Oh, is it?
country
Yeah.
because everyone is just publishing what the wire service wrote.
right, of
There-
course.
CTV, CBC, there's somebody else I saw. There was 3 or 4 major outlets, and then every regional news outlet in the country is republishing this, like Barry 360 and the Standard and the current the Guelph newspaper. Like every news outlet I check
Verbatim.
has
It's
the
just like
same story, but word for word, same pictures, not attributed to an actual person.
Brutal.
well,
But that's okay. We'll just embrace mainstream conspiracy
Theories.
yeah, which is like
Much.
I don't know if
Now
if
you
it
can
wasn't
talk about
obvious
World
there's an
Economic
election
Forum.
coming up soon. This is it with like the articles and all the papers
I'm
like
just-
ramping up to like
I'm just annoyed that every outlet, both sides of the spectrum,
Yeah.
are just reprinting stuff from a wire service without any attribution or critical thought.
How dare you say both sides of the spectrum?
It's in the Sun and the Standard.
Yeah, that's the same spectrum.
That's true.
Everything is uber
Yeah.
left.
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting though that like they say nothing about it's such a barely a touch on, like, oh hey, we're just not going to be part of these big organizations that are controversial.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. My aunt was telling me this about a year ago, and my aunt is like pretty left. And she's like, I just find it so wild how they amp up everything in the news. You hear about a car accident, and instead of them saying like, oh, a car accident, they're like giant explosive, like, it's just so dramatic. They use such inciting language, and that's all that people read. That's it.
Yes.
And they think it's the end
Yeah.
of the world. And it's like, this is the most puff piece. There's like nothing in here that's actually of value.
Well, I disagree just a little tiny bit, mostly.
Unacceptable.
Not
All hell is.
not because I don't think
Yeah.
sorry, not because I think they're saying something useful on purpose. But the left is always accusing you of what they're doing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the article, it says here, populism has driven politicians to feed into conspiracy theories because they need votes, and fear is a great motivator, said Ahmed. They get less interest peddling for votes using their record. It's very easy to appeal to people that something is a threat. For example, your identity, your livelihood, your religious values. Ahmed said it is affecting our democracy, pitting groups against each other, creating suspicion, and harming national security by spreading misinformation that eventually affects policy. Yes, you're right. It's all of the shit you've been doing for the last 7 years.
Yes. But I guess it's like, okay, when I say it's like a puff piece, I mean, it's not really like the people that are going to read that and read it the way that you just
Yeah.
explained it already know that.
Yes.
Like nobody is going to read this and be like, oh, there's something new that I learned about the world today.
And it's
Yeah.
it's funny
You
to me
know?
that they continue to call all the left stuff as conspiracy theories. Like the Great Reset's a conspiracy theory. And it's like, go on their website, Do the research
Yeah, I
yourself.
know.
But you don't have to do any research. Just go on their website and read what they say, and then read the damn
He
books.
wrote like a friggin' book about it.
Yeah,
Right.
called The
New
Great
York book.
Reset.
Yeah.
Look, you guys will all learn to love Mr. Schwab and eat the bugs and have nothing and be happy. And it's not because the WEF tells you to, it's just because like it just makes sense, man. We're totally not, listening to their nonsense. We've come to those same conclusions all on our own. We swear.
Okay. That's insane.
But yeah, no, this is
The massive cricket plant in
Ridiculous.
Ontario is just a coincidence.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to grow your crickets somewhere. Makes sense to put it next to your hybrid or your electric car battery plant.
No, we have millions here. You can just pick them up off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, are they
Yeah,
getting
but
some
who
sort
wants
of
a
weird
free range cricket? I want factory farmed crickets.
Yeah,
Give me
they're
them
fatter
GMO
crickets.
crickets.
Yeah, I mean, I love how that like somehow being the conspiracy theorist thing here and like so horrible is there will be no mandatory digital ID in this country, and I will ban all of my ministers and top government officials from any involvement in the World Economic Forum. And somehow that is so like crazy and kooky. It's like, but no. Like,
Well, I don't know why they're so offended by that either.
yeah,
The World Economic Forum is not actually like a government organization. It's literally like some weird, like third party crony
NGO.
that has, yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
That has infiltrated like various government
Right,
and
so-
social standings. Like it's not like, well, I guess it's no different than like the UN or
well, I mean,
the WHO.
yeah.
So
No, because the UN is not an NGO.
no,
The
it's true, they're
WHO
not.
and the WEF both are NGOs.
Yeah.
well,
The Who's
But I
an
mean, they-
NGO?
Yes.
yeah,
Oh
Not
gosh,
a rock band.
that explains a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they talk here that, last winter, a conspiracy theory circulating on social media suggested Trudeau was going to require provinces to sign on to digital ID systems for their residents in order to get billions in new healthcare funding. That conspiracy was also debunked. And like, yeah, it was, but it also like, it wasn't like,
It was
Some-
debunked in that they're going to do that. That has
yeah,
been
like
the
it's maybe
requirement
not,
that
Fed
is
it's
laid
maybe
out.
not playing out exactly as how like the initial rumors and everything were, but like, that's also not entirely false.
All right. So if you were going to go on Amazon to buy the Great Reset book, would you for $9.99 for the Kindle edition buy COVID-19, the Great Reset, or for $19.99, the Great Reset and the War for the World?
Yeah, I mean, I
I'd probably just steal both off the internet.
mean,
Because one of those is Klaus Schwab, who's the effective head of the.
the $9.99 one is Klaus Schwab. I
The
know because I
WEF.
bought
Yeah.
it because you know your enemy and all that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The $20 version. That's Alex Jones.
Oh, damn.
both back to back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
capitalism, man. No.
That's fascinating.
Read them back to back.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
And then right after, read The Real Anthony Fauci by Robert Kennedy Jr.
RFKJ. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
I actually really want to read that book.
I really want to do whatever roids that man does.
Yeah,
That
It's
RFK
impressive.
does?
it's just, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's just TRT.
Well, I
Like,
wished I had TRT money.
Yeah.
He's a Kennedy. He's got
Yeah.
some stashed away.
You know anyone with a daughter?
Or a maid. I guess that's a different Kennedy.
Well, no. If you knew someone with a daughter, you could get them on the program and just you take their TRT.
That, gotcha.
With you.
Yeah.
Better get on some of that HGH that like Stallone does. That guy is jacked.
Yeah, but when was the last time he made a good movie? Like 1993?
I don't know, man.
I like
The
the
No, no,
Expendables.
those
I'm not
are
gonna
the
lie.
Expendables were
Thousands, that was
great.
good.
I like the Expendables. I like all of them.
They were so good because they were
They
so
were
bad.
awful.
Yeah.
But I
They were
think
like
they were
every-
trying to, like, it was,
Absolutely.
I think that's what they were trying to do, and it was
Yeah.
wonderful.
You hear
It's-
Arnold in it the whole time, and he's using every catchphrase.
Yes.
Yeah.
of movies, and you're like, this is amazing.
It was
And
everything
then
I wanted.
Chuck Norris shows up, and you're like, that just
Yeah.
was Epic.
As
Thank
a
you.
kid that grew up watching terrible 80s and 90s action movies, it was everything I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
can only
took my
imagine our
parents to
kids-
the movie theater to watch that.
I can only imagine our kids growing up and us showing them the Expendables. And them not getting a thing, being like, this is the dumbest movie ever. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
to show
but you
the
have
other
like
10 movies you needed to
like
watch first.
20
Yeah.
years of action movie history to watch first. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good. But seriously though, fuck the
So
web.
good.
Yeah.
So good. Gosh. Okay. What else do we have going on here? There's a lot of like crazy things going on in the news lately.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of picked some
I think
highlights.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're doing good. Can we just like talk shop about Trudeau and his failure in his personal life?
That's at the end. Yeah, we don't worry. We've got that.
I mean, I'm good to skip.
We
to
can
that
skip
immediately.
ahead. Yeah.
Because I don't think we've
I
talked
just
about that
feel
on the
like we'll
show since
talk
it
about it
happened.
for a really long time. And then, this girl turns into a pumpkin at a certain time. So
Well, like we can
very
talk about
Scottish of you.
the divorce.
I didn't hear what either of you said because you were talking over each other.
Andrew said that's
I
very
said that it's
Scottish
not
of
very
you.
Scottish of you.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's the
Are you
first
sure
time in this
So
show
good?
that anybody's ever talked over each other.
So
Yeah.
close. So I don't think we've talked about this on a podcast since it happened. August 2nd. Our current prime minister has done something that only one other prime minister has done in the past, and that's get divorced from his wife, whose last name happens to be Trudeau.
Following once again in his father's footsteps.
Two
Oh.
prime ministers get divorced
Well, this
in office.
stepdad.
Dad
The
on,
man,
dad on
who
paper
filed
as
him on
far
his
as-
tax returns
Yeah.
was listed as a dependent. August 2, Justin and Sophie are officially
Yeah.
calling it quits.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen like 3 years ago?
Well, that was the joke that we kept making 3 years ago, but I guess I finally
Well,
memed it hard enough
I mean,
that it
and
came
that's where-
true.
Yeah. Meme magic is a thing, but I mean, anyone that was surprised by this clearly hasn't been paying attention because
To Idris Elba.
yeah, the last election go round and probably even the one before that, she was noticeably absent.
The last
all the
election,
other-
absolutely absent, like noticeably absent, to the point where like even people in the media,
Yeah,
We're
like
like-
the CBC questioned it, which means
we
was
haven't
so
seen Sophie, and they weren't being like accusatory the way I was, where I was
Yeah.
like saying that this isn't
yeah,
slander. This is
Normal.
just me like speaking hypothetically that Sophie is probably getting plowed by Idris Elba.
yeah.
The CBC was more like Sophie Trudeau is a little bit absent from the campaign season.
Yeah,
Justin
weird.
appears by himself in this place. Justin appears with these people in this place. Justin and Christina Freeland are in this place. Sophie is
Yeah.
not. And
So when
whereas
they're
I was
noticing
like,
it, yeah,
Sophie's in
it's-
Paris getting boned by Idris Elba.
There was the
Yeah,
one
it is,
photo
yeah.
op too, where like he leaned in for a kiss and she turned away and whatever. And
Well,
Well,
That
and
sparked a
so
whole
when
bunch
they
of
made
meme
the
magic.
announcement, it wasn't that they are getting a divorce. It's already done, which like in Ontario,
That's a year.
where
It takes a long
They-
time. You have to
there are-
be
well, even
separated for a long time.
well, even to fast track it and do all of the things, you're looking at several months at the absolute shortest, which I imagine like,
I'm
he's
pretty
got-
sure
he's got a
Ontario
little
is
bit of
year.
yeah, but if they've been separated and it's like
Yes.
they both agree or
So,
whatever, you can
I-
kind of yeah.
I guess what I should say is I believe that from the date that you list your separation on in Ontario
Yeah.
requires 1 year before the government will recognize your divorce.
Yeah.
And given, he's got maybe a little bit of pull in the government, he can probably speed it up. So that's at least several months to a year that they've already been separated, divorced. And I mean,
Well,
the rumors have been going around for
I,
quite a
I would
while
have
now.
figured that when she got COVID with Idris, that was probably when
Yeah.
things were.
I'm just
going
curious when he's going to announce his next divorce. That's
I
the
think he's
thing.
getting divorced.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he's just going to keep hitting it. Like maybe his wife is into it. Maybe it's a 3 thing. I don't know.
Maybe Sophie is like a closet, fringe minority, and then she
How
just
epic would that
abandoned.
be?
That would be amazing.
That like, if all of a sudden she comes out as like, I never got vaccinated. I doubt it because she was like just all over that on the
Yeah, but
medias
that's
and everything,
roughly
but
the time that she stopped being present, is like just
Wow.
after that whole debacle.
be interesting to see nonetheless. But
Yeah. Yeah.
madly
Either way.
interning here, and Gavin has intrigued me. I'm curious how many former spouses that Idris Elba has.
Let's
was
not
only
check
aware of the
your
one.
browsing history now. It's gonna get a little weird.
You're telling me.
Elba.
It's not stalking if I just do it on the computer, is it? I thought that had to be in person.
I don't know.
Well, well, yeah, I mean, I guess the
Wife,
divorce
wife,
and all the
former
things,
wife?
and so
lost wife. Does that mean that one of them died?
maybe.
Oh no, it's not talking about him. It's somebody else. Yeah, it looks like he's 1 and 2. He's had one and he's got a second one.
Spouses. He's on the third one.
A third one. Okay. Liz is better at interning than I am. And now Liz's browser history has Idris Elba.
Eh.
Oh, I'm
It's
sure it
less
already
weird
did,
than
yeah.
I do.
It already did, yeah.
Whatever.
No,
I subscribe to him on Spotify.
never looked for this guy before.
uh,
But Wikipedia is like useless and useful all at the same time.
It's useful for certain things.
The dude is 50.
Speaking
Yeah.
of being
He's
on the same
fine for
testosterone as
50.
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so during the whole divorce
Guys.
thing, Trudeau put out
Guys.
this big thing.
I'm really
About
sorry, but I
privacy.
gotta interrupt.
Really?
His other name is DJ Big Drees. Just saying.
Yeah, that's
Spell
what she
that
calls him.
last word.
Yeah, that's what she calls him for sure.
BRIIS. I
Two
can't.
eyes.
2 eyes. I don't know how to say that.
That's not a word.
I know.
Yeah, just accept it. Just accept it.
I don't understand hip hop culture.
Yeah, no,
It's
just
not the
accept it.
word. Anyway, sorry, Gavin, go ahead. Way more.
But
No,
yeah,
that was
no,
important
no, and
information.
they're-
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, their official statement, is very officially prepared and put out on all of their social media things.
In both official languages.
Yes, as is tradition. They asked for privacy for the family, right? We don't
Which, I
want,
mean,
like-
they've got kids. I can kind of understand that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you're also the head of state. So fuck you.
yeah,
His
but
kid doesn't
then-
even look like him in this photo, though.
Well, I mean, the tradition continues.
yeah.
Your wife gets boned by another dude. You get divorced while you're in office. I mean, like
You invoke the Emergencies Act.
the
Yeah,
similarities between him and his
all
old
the
man
things are
are the old man who claimed him as a dependent on his
Right.
tax return.
But despite asking for privacy in these trying times for them, he then goes and like immediately violates his kid's privacy by posting a photo of them wearing pink and going to the Barbie movie.
Also, pretty sure that the t-shirt that his son is wearing is like a girl's t-shirt.
T-shirts can be gender neutral.
That
You
one
can
is
wear-
not.
I'm not saying that doesn't look like it was cut to be worn by a woman, but I'm just saying T-shirts come in
female-
men's and
female
women's.
bodied
There's not
person,
72
Andrew.
other kinds of T-shirts.
female bodied person, I believe is the correct term.
Is that what that is? Female body person?
Yeah.
I mean, his son does look like he eats almost as much soy as his old man. So
Yeah.
I know, I'm
He's
picking on a
definitely not
15-year-old.
the-
It's not
he's definitely
nice, but,
not the
like-
guy you're gonna ask to go to for your TRT, that's for sure.
no.
Um,
no.
You know what?
His
It says
Justin
that
doesn't look so
they're
good
all-
in that picture either.
No,
No,
That
they
is-
all look like they're 50. It
Is
says
that
here
the-
that his kids are all 15 and under. That kid is like a little too. I don't,
Creepy? Misshapen.
I
Unfortunate.
don't know for like a 15-year-old. Like he's making his dad look real tiny beside him.
I thought
I mean,
Trudeau was of like normal height. Like I thought he was just shy of 6 feet.
yeah.
And then his
and the kid looks
15-year-old is
taller.
like 6'2",
Well, when the
6'3".
genetics aren't the same, these things happen.
Yeah, but he's still white.
I know that's the thing.
That doesn't mean that Idris is his dad. I'm
Oh,
just-
that's a good point.
Fair.
This is my
I mean-
favorite game.
Yeah. But yeah, immediately, like, it's back to the two wolves from the beginning, right? One is OPSEC, the other one is balling that up and throwing it right into the garbage is the other one, right?
All right, we'll
And
come
he
back to
shows
those
out.
to those two wolves in just a second. I want to hear Peter. What's the name of that game? Is it Who's Your Daddy?
Something along those lines, yeah.
I think while we're on the subject of like 80s action movie, isn't that the line from Kindergarten Cop? Who's your
Yes.
daddy and what does he do?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's not a tumor.
I didn't watch that one.
No,
Oh,
no,
classic.
it has a great line that is very relevant for.
Get to the
not-
chopper?
No,
Oh,
it's about genders and things like that.
right.
Yeah,
Boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
yeah.
Yeah. I do have to say as well that I really like how the Toronto Sun just doesn't, in this article that we're reading, they don't really pull punches. They're like,
Mm,
the caption
Yeah,
of the
They did
photo is
once.
weird, weird, weird. And the actual title is Trudeau asks for privacy for his family, then violates their privacy himself.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah, but
I mean,
Warren
it's-
Kinsella is that's how he normally writes. This is
Yeah, he's a little.
this is
inflammatory
Warren
like that.
doing like stream of consciousness. I need to get 250 words in by end of day for my editor. I will spew
Yeah.
some stuff onto the page picking on Trudeau, which
He's not
I
wrong.
enjoy.
Yeah,
Don't get
Yeah,
me
he's
wrong.
not
Like,
wrong.
I'm on board with that, but also
I think my favorite part of the article is the advertisement in the middle that's showing the Toronto Sun's front page from October 1st, 2021 of Trudeau surfing during National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, the first one.
ugh.
Yeah.
going
Well, I
surfing
don't have the same
as
app
is
as you.
as is the indigenous tradition.
but-
It's like hunting with drones. It's traditional.
Yeah.
Don't get me down that rabbit hole.
I don't know. I don't want to pick on his kids too much, although his son is kind of unfortunate looking.
Oh, I don't think that that's even where I was going. I just think that like it is captioned correctly. It just seems like a very weird photo. Like,
Well, while we're on the subject of weird photos, can we ask why when they went to the screening, he had an outfit change for the picture with his son and his daughter?
Those are two different movies.
Th-
They
Are
two
they?
like they went, it's so he went with his son to see the Barbie movie because that's what you do with your son. And he went
Right.
with his daughter to see Oppenheimer.
Okay, that makes.
She
I
seems
thought
way cooler
I thought
already.
they went to the theaters
No,
and he like for some reason did a costume change in the middle of it. I couldn't understand why, but it's
Did you guys
supposed to
watch
be on different
Oppenheimer?
days.
they were 2 days. They were 2 days apart.
I see. Okay, thank you. I was
stalking them
struggling with
now.
that.
It's in the captions of the pictures.
I didn't pay that close
I
attention.
didn't see the
was-
second photo.
It's scroll down near the end.
Oh, okay, now I see it.
Yeah, his daughter's wearing a belly shirt. Like a whore. Sorry.
She's 14. Okay. Again, just feels weird. It's like somebody superimposed his face into somebody else's photo. Like it just, he's not a
superimpose
very
something into his
relatable.
face.
It's just, I feel like he's trying to be relatable now, and he's not a really relatable guy.
What, you don't have a multi-million-dollar Mercedes car? You don't find that relatable?
Well, I don't really give a shit about that, but he's just never presented himself as anything other than a pandering leader that is just, you know, like wearing a cheesy tie and greased back hair, calling people names. That's it. Or kneeling when it's not appropriate to.
Well,
Like
I
that's
mean,
the only thing that he really represents to me. So
I mean, he's
weird
pretty
seeing
terrible.
him in these photos, but
Yeah. But, you know, and continuing, I guess, with the privacy trend, they also announced that they're going on vacation to BC for a week.
As one does.
Because respect our
Yes,
privacy, P.S. we're going on vacation for a week. We're gonna
I'd
tell you
really
all
like
the-
it if, you know, they'd like to either drop the gas prices or pay for a vacation for me.
The most shocking thing is that they're actually paying for this stay themselves.
Well,
No, I
Not the
mean-
not the security and all that stuff. They're giving-
Or the flight out
Well, it
there
will be.
or that, yeah. The room and board, I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
no, no, the flight thing, up to a point, I understand.
yeah.
Still head of
I-
state. I don't have to like him, but still head of state.
Well, yes, but so there are still expenses that we are incurring because they're going on vacation.
There's also a certain point that I'm like, yes, if I had a job like that, I feel like I would want to fly private.
It's not. It is the most public, except the public doesn't get to fly because it's Canadian Forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Because
I-
again,
the Air
head of
Force
state.
plane.
No, and yes.
So
as
you
a
should
head of
strap him
state-
into the back of a C-130 and kick him out on the way past Tofino.
Yeah,
Feet and
I
knees
mean-
together, asshole.
That'd be a good
Yeah.
show.
yeah.
Isn't that the,
Oh, you're
no, that's
shooting
not really the
where-
area that snowbird went down a couple years ago during COVID. It was nearby though, wasn't it?
No, but it could be the area where his plane goes down.
Yeah, it was some
But,
dark, but
Yeah, I'm not against,
Unlikely.
it makes sense that as a head of state that they're traveling via like official government airways, but to say that they're covering the cost of it is a little misleading, because
yeah,
they
covering
might
the
be
cost of an
covering,
Airbnb is different than AvGas.
well, that, and so they
And
might
security.
be covering the cost of their accommodations
And
and
again,
their
I'm-
meals,
To a
but the
point, head of
staff
state,
that,
I understand this up to a point. Still better than going to the Bahamas to visit private islands
Well,
that
yes,
are
and at
owned
least
by
this
other heads
time-
of states.
at least this time, he cleared it with the ethics commission first. Not that it
As-
would have made a huge difference, because he would have had to pay a $200 bill if he didn't, but
Tack that right on.
yeah. I mean, in hindsight, it would have been cheaper for him to just go and then pay that fine after, but yeah, at least he seems to have slightly learned his lesson. But again, respect our privacy. P.S. We're going on a family vacation after I announce my divorce. Oh yeah, we told you we're going to still do things as a family. Peace. We out.
I don't, again, head of state though, I feel like they're entitled to some reasonable amount of vacation
Sure.
time, right? Parliament is not
sure.
currently sitting. So they presumably get some sort of
Yeah.
vacation, right? And I don't see an issue with him going on vacation with his family. At least they're
No.
staying in Canada this time. I'm not going to break his balls super hard about this one.
No, but I just find it's when you look at the big picture, and it's we're announcing our divorce. We're asking everyone to respect our privacy, but now we're going to tell everyone we're going on vacation and we're
But
doing all
again,
of this
head of
stuff.
state, we always have
Yeah.
an itinerary for where he is every day.
Absolutely.
So
If there
I-
was no itinerary, it would be weird.
Yes.
I
It
think
just-
though
Timing
that,
wise, it's all weird.
yeah, and he's okay, if you compare it to like certain previous leaders, it would never be a showboaty type of thing. Like nobody gave two shits where, half of the other prime ministers went on holidays because it was a very discreet thing. They would just go. And like, I think that most Canadians understood that there would be some, funding coming from the taxpayer dollar,
Right.
whether it was transportation, security, whatever. That understanding was there. I think where it starts to become just so extra and noticeable, and it's really easy to nitpick, is that
The
he,
hair,
well,
the socks.
all of it.
The fiscal policy.
Yeah,
The
just all of
cuckoldry.
it. Like he has become such a,
Douchebag.
yeah, okay, accurate, but
Yeah.
every decision that he has seemed to make, like
I
even-
enjoy the finish Liz sentence game.
you're
Yeah.
doing pretty good at this. You're doing pretty good at this. But even discussing how his family is,
Unfortunate looking. This is the
No.
best version of Mad Libs I've ever had.
It's great because Liz can just say nice things and Andrew can fill it in with all the asshole stuff.
Yeah.
And Liz can just be like, I didn't say it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. No, but like, I mean, he is posting that his family is going through kind of a big deal right now. But
It is
then
a big deal.
it is a big deal. But then going and posting photos of him going to these, like, doing just regular dad things, and then saying, oh, hey, yeah, but we're getting a divorce. It's kind of a big deal. Like, privacy, please respect us. And then does these like normal people, Joe Blow things. But on the tail of all of that, talking about where they're going on holidays.
Mm.
Like,
Well,
it's
so
such
they
an
didn't
attention
actually
grab.
there was very little detail about where they were actually going on holidays, but I have a curiosity because I don't follow the prime minister on social media, mostly due to my being banned from most social media.
Sure.
Is this a normal behavior for him? Is there like, do they,
I don't think so.
I don't know, somebody go on like Justin or Sophie or their children's social media and like, do they normally post going to the movies? Is that a thing that's happened before?
I think
I-
it's
Kind of
virtue
regularity?
signaling about the Barbie thing, or probably
I
just
think it's
trying to.
probably.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, have they
No,
posted about
okay,
their
so there's,
vacations in the
it's
past? Is there-
usually they're extremely curated,
Oh,
like government
these
based.
photos are extremely curated. Don't worry.
No, but it's not
But
like
curated
family
in a
oriented,
different
like
way.
most of the photos that he has, like they are not his family. They are like
Yeah.
Canada politics and like socioeconomic stuff. And
So it
you
would be
know?
fair to say this is out of character.
yeah, and that's,
Yes.
I think, one of the reasons that I thought it was a little odd. Like, I follow a couple of like politicians on Instagram, but I'm never on Instagram, so I don't really
I mean,
notice it. But I'm looking here, and I kind of just felt like they were weird photos to begin with.
Right. So
Like, they
it doesn't
just-
it doesn't fit the vibe, as the Gen Z
No,
says.
not at all. He's
Yeah.
really trying to like maybe become relatable, right?
giving
Maybe
off
he's
self.
trying
so
to-
shortly
Yeah.
after they announced their divorce, Poliver dropped a new reintroduction to Pierre video where they're showing his softer family side. So maybe this
Pierre
is a
the
response. Yes. So maybe like it's his wife talking about him and all of the stuff.
Man, his wife
So-
is good looking.
Yeah. So maybe this is the response to that, to like, I mean, he's taking
Yeah.
a
Did you
shit
notice that
kicking in the media.
Pierre is wearing his glasses less lately.
Yeah.
In question
Probably got
period.
He's
laser
almost,
surgery
he's
or
almost,
something.
he's almost hasn't worn them at all in the last few months.
Or you got
Wow.
contacts. He's trying to look more cool.
Well,
He's
and that's the
trying-
thing. They're both
They're
trying to rebrand in
Yeah.
anticipation of a possible election and be the
they're-
more relatable guy.
and
I
that's,
honestly
I
How about you
think
just
that's
don't
what
be
it
shitty
is.
and then we get votes?
Relatable.
And this is why like all of this stuff with Trudeau is because he's so that guy that like puts all this shit out there and it's all
Yeah.
contrived and it's all trying to project something that it just seems so phony and artificial and like and that's the problem, right? Like
Well, and I
it-
think that that's why people are getting so drawn to these really minuscule details about him going on vacation and the fact that, like, because again, historically, guaranteed, all the other prime ministers have done exactly the same thing,
well, and like
right?
fucking guy always seems to be on vacation. So like, and at least when
Right.
he's on vacation, dumb shit doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
I'm all for like take as many vacations as you want.
Yeah,
bud,
but I
because
think
What about
like
the time
and
that he
take your
went
full
surfing
cabinet with you.
on the whole
Yeah,
truth and
right.
reconciliation thing? That qualifies as dumb shit.
yeah, no, that's totally a indigenous thing. He was honoring the traditional ancestors and all of that by going surfing in Tofino.
Yeah.
This our natives totally surf, bro. It's Charlie that
know.
doesn't surf.
I think that we should offer all civil servants and politicians
To the volcano
360
demon.
306 I love the Mad Libs. 365 days a year of vacation.
No, I think we
All-
should stop
all of
paying
them.
them.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
should never have left the government.
But I'm not suggesting we give them vacation. I think we just remove their salaries.
Oh, I'm willing to
good
send
with
them
that,
on
too.
vacation. I will gladly pay a one-way airfare for them.
I don't know.
I know a guy with a C-130.
Perfect. How far do you think, like, do you think you can get to the Bay of Santiago on a tank of gas?
Be a fundy, maybe.
Perfect. Works for me.
Be remembered for something else.
El Salvador seems to be cleaning up their act pretty good.
There's a couple of places that I'm like, you know what? Seems to be coming along pretty good. Maybe I'll skip town.
Not
Anybody
South
else?
Africa. At least not
Oh
for
no, that
people
looks
like us.
brutal. You know what's interesting about that though is that nobody is paying attention to the fact that this whole like white farmer massacre has been happening for a very long time. So
Wars.
yeah, it's been a long time. And I'm still trying to listen to those books that other Andrew told me to listen to about Rhodesia and stuff. I get distracted easily.
Nice shirt, Gavin.
But-
Great podcast.
Hold that up to the microphone so everybody can hear it.
What does your shirt say? I didn't see it.
Sit nomine digna.
Rhodesia. There you go. Yeah, but I was just listening to that this week. So what I don't know. I didn't know anything about Rhodesia. It's very interesting. But we
Have you
tried to
never
hire
listened
a
to this
guy-
show before?
Yeah.
Eh,
Remember book club?
Cecil
yeah, I
rowboats,
sometimes
come
take you
on.
guys out. I didn't,
Cecil or
I like
Cecil? I've
barely
always called him
participated
Cecil.
in book club, and when I
Whatever.
did, it was
Cecil.
obviously not good, so.
Cecil.
I've always called him Cecil. Is his name Cecil?
No,
Whatever.
It
it's
really
Cecil.
depends on.
Oh,
where
Gavin's
you're
just bad.
from.
Okay,
It's
It's
the
just
same name.
Did I put the
pronounced
emphasis on the wrong
differently.
syllable?
Yeah.
possibly.
Well, either way, the guy was brilliant.
There you go.
Really good at diamonds.
Wow.
Yeah. Company still exists to this day.
Mhm.
One interesting thing on the whole South Africa white massacre thing. Those people are having an extremely hard time getting refugee status in Canada, as in they're not getting it.
Yeah.
And
so-
that's not just Canada, it's all over the world.
well, so
That,
this is
it's
the
okay
thing.
though, because we're sending all of our tax dollars to the Ukraine. Don't worry, the problem will be solved.
Well, and that's
Uh,
but it's really no, it's really interesting that you say that actually, because probably I want to say probably 5 to 7 years ago. I'm really bad at time now that COVID happened.
time doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
I'm
It was
convinced.
never linear, and now I can prove it.
Now it really sucks. I know. So we had tried recruiting for the shop outside of, like, we were looking for mechanics and stuff like that, specialists. And we tried recruiting outside of the country. We're like, oh, let's see what we can do. And we ended up actually having a phone interview with a guy from South Africa. And we're like, we were just talking to him about, like what it would take to get him over here. And we couldn't do it because it was such a barrier to get them over here. But I did ask him, I was like, why are you relocating? Like, you obviously are somebody who's, a skilled guy. What's the motivation? He's like, honestly, the safety of my family. And again, this was
I really doubt
probably
that was how
closer
he
to-
said it. That is not a South African accent at all.
Yeah.
I'm very
I'm-
disappointed.
Not even close. Yeah.
you're
It's
not wrong,
embarrassing,
but I'm
Liz.
not.
It's embarrassing.
I don't care. Maybe you guys think it's embarrassing, but I don't care.
What would be more embarrassing is if I tried.
Yeah, probably. I'm having a really hard time in my brain, like just imagining what the South African accent is. Like, it's kind of a tough one because it's a combination of just so many accents.
Well, it's a
It's
combination
like
of
Dutch and
Afrikaans
Irish,
English
but
and
like with a
Dutch,
weird
yeah.
Aussie twist.
Yeah.
There's nothing Australian about it, but it sounds like vaguely
It is
Australian.
very recognizable though when you hear it.
Yeah.
Oh
You're
yeah.
like, yep, that is South African.
Yeah.
I had a conversation recently with a gentleman that I was like, South Africa. He's like, Zim. I was like, Rhodesia. He's like, yes.
That
That
could have gone one of many ways.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
We don't call it that anymore. Yeah.
yeah, but there's a lot of countries out there that,
I-
indigenous or OG colonial people call it something different than what it has been recently dipped to be.
There's a lot of those in that part of the world.
Yeah.
As we learned the other day, where someone said they were from a country, and I was like, I've never heard of this.
I
Eritrea?
still am not convinced
Yeah.
I have ever heard. I think I have heard of it, but I
What?
didn't really trigger that
Trinidad?
was actually a real
No, that's
Eritrea.
over there.
Eritrea.
No, Trinidad's a real country.
Yeah,
We
Eritrea
did
or
know
whatever, yeah. It's attached to that Tobago place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. I guess it didn't really. Eritrea is pretty small.
Yeah,
I think
and
it
it,
used
like-
to be part of Ethiopia.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
it's not, that's the problem with that part of the world is that like,
Yeah.
they're constantly warring in and amongst themselves and splitting into different countries, and some of them are officially recognized and some aren't. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
it's-
either way, not a part of the world that you really want to be from at the moment.
No, there's some, but I don't know. We live in a pretty, we don't live in a violent world per se, but we live in an extremely complicated and trashy one, I think. I don't know.
First world problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
that's definitely a thing. We don't have necessarily, like insecurities about food or
Yet.
economics, things like that. But
Don't
I think
worry.
that-
Wow.
It gets way
well,
worse.
so here's
Yeah.
the thing that a lot of
Yeah.
people will argue.
Jump to I'm the other girl in the stack.
What's that?
Inflation is price
I know.
growth by enters new phase. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Inflation continues to go up.
Well, and that's the thing though. when people have challenged the first world problems thing, I'm like, listen, there's a bunch of people that came before us that worked really hard to make this a first world. And I think it's kind of our duty to kind of try and keep it that way. But not in the way that, the liberal ideology is, like not that kind of first world. I want one where, people can actually find some, personal security, economic security, social freedom, that sort of thing.
I
So,
wish you all very good luck with that. Buy lots of ammunition.
Wow.
oh yeah,
Buy
that's
cheap,
what I'm
stack
saying
it
though,
deep,
right?
yeah.
Is that,
Yeah,
we
plan-
compare
plan
ourselves a
A
lot of
is
time to
to-
second and third world countries, but it's
Plan
like,
A is live a long,
different.
happy, healthy life. Plan B is a lot of ammunition.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, no, I like this. Canada's annual inflation rate fell back to the country's target range in June for the first time since March 2021, tumbling to 2.8%. So it's not like inflation went away and
No.
things are still getting more expensive,
They're just
even when
not
it slowed down.
getting as expensive as quickly.
But
Yeah.
now we're ramping that right back up again. So it's like someone must have turned on the money printers again.
Well, it's
To be
It's-
fair, they're saying it's only gonna go up to like 3 and a bit.
but it's interesting because I was doing
Or
some
3
reading-
more percent.
I was doing
Yeah.
some reading about the labor market, and they're very obviously very tied in. And the unemployment rate, it's still growing.
Actual unemployment or measured unemployment?
I think
Yes.
probably measured.
The measured
Right.
unemployment statistic is nonsense.
Because it
I
only
mean, most-
includes people who are looking for a job.
well,
And
exactly.
haven't found a job within the 6 months, because after the 6 months, they fall off the stat.
Right, exactly. But still, it's the only real data that you actually have. But it's interesting because you look at the unemployment rate, but then you also see, like even Shopify, which is like a huge organization, they just laid off.
Mhm.
It's a pretty big organization.
It's a very cash flow heavy organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shopify is not a large employer. There's not
No,
like a,
it's not really because it's
there's
it's
I
not,
mean,
but
in
they
terms of
they
like,
laid off a lot of people.
what's what I mean? Like in terms of
Yeah.
like Kitchener Waterloo employers, they employ a lot of people in
Yeah.
a very small geographic area. In terms of like number of employees in a Canadian company, they're not a big player.
No,
They
but
have
if you
a
look at
lot of money
percentages of
going
like
on, though.
layoff though,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that it's super aggressive. But
That's
if you
because
think
they
about
saw
what
what. Sorry, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
if you think about what they actually do though, they're just a platform, a selling platform for usually smaller to medium-sized businesses, right? So
And if you'd like to use a discount code to checkout, use the discount code Patriot when you're shopping at RagnarokTactical.ca.
You can support small business.
We're on Shopify.
I was like, what the hell
Yeah.
was that? But cool. Wait, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm glad I could be the segue into that.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, there you go. Shameless plug. But
Not a plug
Have
for
less
shameless,
shame
but
than
just a
what-
shameless plug.
yeah,
Less
I
shame than
appreciate that.
Justin's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Idris's
Yes.
girlfriend?
last more,
So
whatever.
much
Yeah.
shame.
Whichever.
But as you see inflation rise, you see a lot of small businesses take a giant hit. And
Yeah,
then you see
Because
private like
capital
that
is not
suffer.
available and nobody's doing it on their own money. They're doing it on
Yeah.
loans.
Well, and a
And
lot
if
of the
you can't
time
service
too,
the loan when it's like an extra 2%, then you're not going to do it.
I was actually talking to somebody the other day because we were talking about mortgages and stuff like that and variable rate.
Gross.
Yeah, but I mean, the average millennial got duped into the idea of a variable rate, whereas like the generation, the lost generation in between there got kind of encouraged
The
to be
lost
fixed rate. And the
You
fixed
mean
rate,
the Xers?
what? Yeah, the Xers are called the lost generation.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very lame. I mean, it fits.
I'd
'cause it's-
prefer if we lost the boomers instead, but whatever.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but we
unfortunately,
should have
there's a lot
lost
of
them
them.
a long
So
time
we can't
ago.
lose them. We can't lose them. There's a lot. But a lot of Gen Xers, they still went with the locked in mortgages and they're doing decently well because even if they did get, kind of high locked in rates, they're still at like 2% compared to some people are floating up to, 6, 7, 8 or higher. And so we were talking about this, a bunch of us were just, chatting about this as one would, but they were saying that a lot of people, they were talking to their bank and it's astounding. I'm talking local. astounding how many people are just like walking into the bank and handing in their keys. Like they're talking daily,
But I mean, the
and
whole banking system and everything is a massive, massive, massive scheme. Like even on the business side of it, like we do business with our bank, and like most businesses operate on some sort of line of credit.
sure.
So with the cost of everything going up, you're forced to renegotiate your line of credit with the bank in order to have like operating capital
Yeah.
and all those things and do that. But the problem is that like back in the day when the bank, and this is the problem we're having, the bank will tell you that you have X amount of money, right?
Yeah.
So they'll go, okay, you have $2 million of line of credit, except that they margin that, which means that you don't actually get $2 million. Even though you're approved for $2 million, you get like 1.8
Yeah.
because they do margining, and then they force you to get like margining insurance and things like that. But then in my business's case, the cost of me to get the insurance is going to be more than what the difference in the margining is going to give me access to. But it's like, you've approved me for $2 million. Why can't I have $2 million? So now we have to like renegotiate to ask for more money just to be able to get the actual amount of money we're supposed to get.
Yep.
And then it's the same thing on like the individual side of it. Like it's all just nonsense where like, oh yeah, you've got this, and this. And you're like, okay, but what do I really have?
Yeah. And the average person, unfortunately, is not skilled or knowledgeable enough to know how to read those figures for themselves. Right. So they don't know how to like navigate through some of the decision making that's going to get them a better strategic outcome.
It's
And we
because they
become-
spend way too much time trying to teach high school kids calculus instead of things that'll actually help their life.
Well, I think that's
I'm really
part
good
of
at
it,
solving
but some of
differential
it,
equations now, though.
I'm not. I quit.
Well,
well,
I've
I
never
think
once
that
had to
there's
do
like,
that.
AP math. So
well, there's way
Big
too
deal.
much focus on like social, so I'm going to call it social programming because I don't want to say social skills because a lot of the time they still come out with
This is
abysmal
fair.
social skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like
This is
social programming,
government
like, a huge
indoctrination, so-
focus.
Yeah. Learning to
You know?
wear your pink shirt to go see the Barbie movie is way more important
Yeah.
than learning how to do actual math that you're going to use in your everyday life.
it's
Well,
not even learning how to
exactly.
do actual math. It's learning how to have like functional adult skills. Like
Yeah.
how does compound interest actually work? Not
Yeah.
complicated math. Because like compound
Yeah.
interest is like
I will say that my parents, like, I will thank them every day. They are not overly educated folks. Like my dad did not graduate high school, and they made us go through like budgeting and strategic finance classes that were outside of, any education scheme, because obviously they're not going to teach you that anywhere else. But it's such a lost thing. Like people
so I
don't.
mean,
understand
this
how
is
any
not a
of that
thing that
stuff
is
works.
covered in public education. There isn't
No,
like
not
how
at
to do a
all.
budget. There isn't how to balance a checkbook. There isn't how to file your taxes.
No.
There isn't how to apply for a mortgage or a car loan.
And
Okay.
even just to monitor some of that stuff, like you don't have to be the person that does all the stuff. You just have to be the person that recognizes when something isn't working, or
No,
the
but
person
this
that
is-
is doing that stuff for you is no longer working for you.
That's what I mean.
And-
This is the same as any like skilled trade that you're hiring out.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if it's a plumber or an electrician or an accountant. Like they need to be good at their job, and you need to be good enough at knowing what their job is to make sure that they're doing their job.
Yeah.
You don't need to be an electrician. No, they're good at electrician. You need to make sure like, okay, does it all look right? Is it clean? Is it organized? Right. The same thing with the accountant. Like, does he get back to you on a timely basis? Does he give you the right amount? Like, are you paying the agreed upon fees? Is it happening on the right cadence? Like, you don't have to be an accountant to make sure he's doing a good job as an accountant.
Well,
It's the same
exactly.
as any of those skilled trades that you're hiring out too.
Exactly. And I do think that that's why, like just some of the financial crisis that we are getting into is just escalating so much more because we've created such a reliant
Because
society.
we have things like Klarna and what's those other stupid microfinance things? You can get a
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, you
says-
can buy like a friggin'
Sezzle
you go
and-
shopping or whatever, and your checkout card is like $300 if you're buying, like I'll buy my clothes online sometimes. And it gives you an option to pay like
Yeah.
weekly or monthly. I was
That's
like,
what
if
I mean.
you cannot
Right.
pay for your clothing when
Why
you
are you buying
order
it?
But
you
also,
probably shouldn't be buying it.
And I mean, I think that's true of most things. Go ahead. Ken.
yeah, no, but like also like if they're gonna like give you these micro loans with 0 interest, why would you not take advantage of them?
If there's zero interest, and that's a different thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I really like this example of Crappy Tire because
Yeah.
I have the Crappy Tire MasterCard and I do a lot of my like household goods shopping at Crappy Tire. And they're like, do you want to finance this for 24 months at zero interest? And I was like, a free loan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Because
that's
the money
different,
in
though,
2
'cause you're
years
like-
is going to be less than it is today, right? So like I am not paying interest and coming out ahead by paying them with tomorrow's money tomorrow, which is worth less than today's money.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, if you know how to work that system, the problem
But
is,
that's what I mean. People aren't
people-
taught how to learn how to
or they
learn
know
that
just
system.
enough to get them into trouble, but not enough to
Well,
stay
but
out of like
this is the problem with like
defect.
the Sezzle Klarna microfinance online shopping problem. Hey, this is $100. Do you want to pay for $27 for 4 weeks? No, because
Yeah.
that's not $100 anymore.
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes maybe it's worth it, other times maybe not, but
I would say in general, if it's like not tens of thousands of dollars, it's not worth it.
well,
No,
our
But you still
inflation
have to
isn't
know how
that
to-
bad yet.
you still have
Yeah.
to you still have to know how to manipulate your your income and your
Well,
debt load to appropriately
that's where-
make even something like that work.
Well, fun fact,
Fiscal-
those
yeah.
like microfinance operations,
Yeah.
they don't count towards your consumer debt the same way as a regular credit card does.
Yeah, which is
So-
probably much better because a lot of people have like really shitty credit.
Well, a lot of people do have poor credit, but a lot of people have poor credit for a variety of reasons, and most of the time it's because of delinquent payments.
Yeah.
The difference is with your regular credit card, like a MasterCard or Amex Visa, whatever, if you pay your credit card bill on time in full every month, or you're at least paying above the minimum, that gives you points on your credit score. The microfinancing places like Klarna and Sezzle, they only dock points if you don't make your payments on time. You don't get any credit for doing the right, like for actually fulfilling your end of the obligation. So, not saying they're hurting your credit, but the
Not
microfinancing
helping.
thing is not going to be helping your credit because of the way that they report to the credit bureaus.
Yeah.
Well-
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think people have the skill.
But this is the
No,
thing,
but
is
they
like
out of trouble.
fiscal literacy needs to be a thing so that you can look at it and go, okay, does this benefit me or not? And like, yeah, if it's going to be like a long-term thing where, yeah, like tomorrow's money is going to be worth less than today's money, but my payment amount stays the same, then yes, it is worth it for me to finance it over time, especially at no
Yes.
interest.
Well, the no interest part is, I'm going to say different. If you're paying
even-
if you're paying admin fees or financing fees or interest, in most
Yeah.
cases, it's not going to be worth it with our
No.
inflation at
But
3-ish%.
But that's the financial literacy part, is you can make that thing, even if there is those things, is the inflation outpacing, the
And
admin fee or
gonna
the
say in
interest?
general,
Probably
no.
not, but at
I'm going to
least,
say like almost always no.
But you'd be able to
the only
understand
exception
it.
to that is like if you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
vehicles or homes.
Yeah.
And even then,
But-
vehicles is kind of a sketchy one.
yeah,
Like if it's
but at
not
least
if it's
you
not an
need to be able to look
appreciating
at it
asset.
and understand it and go, oh no, it's way better for me to just pay this off now.
Yeah.
Whereas people nowadays just, they look at the thing and go, $10 a day sold, right? Like they,
Yeah.
no understanding of how it works at all.
Well, but that is the thing. And I truly believe that that's part of what is really feeding into this like rise in inflation and cost, because I do think that we can drive a lot of these financial decisions, but the amount of financial illiteracy out there makes it
Oh, it's abysmal.
like,
Yeah.
well, but it just makes it a moot point. Like there's nothing driving it except for the corporations that are making money off of this, right? Or the institutions, I should say, that are making money off of this, because the people that are consuming are not using their consumerism in an effective manner. Right?
Because they're giving money to stupid people.
Yeah, that. And like, I think part of the problem too is that they're just as frustrated. Nobody wants to be paying more taxes. Nobody wants to be paying. I know that here where I'm at, fuel's quite high. Like it's quite a bit higher than it's ever been. So, well, not ever, but you know what I mean? Like it's pretty
bad.
high. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But people are not adjusting. I don't know, well, voting patterns, people are not, advocating for anything. People are not adjusting spending patterns. There's been loose studies out there done about how it kind of like, I don't want to say this, depression kind of creates spending sprees, like people tend to spend more money when they're in a bad state. So I've read it a couple of places. I don't have the exact data to back it up, but I'm like, well, I've seen it happen. So it does track, people have been fed the line of like, you got to spend money to make money too, different things like that. And they
Different
kind of
when it's
latch onto
money
that
you
shit.
have to spend versus money that you're paying interest on that's not actually your money. All right. Closing thoughts. Anything anybody else has a pressing urge to share with the audience or one another?
I mean, preaching to the choir, but like in the bizarre chance that somebody listens to this that is not in line with our groupthink, get some fucking fiscal literacy, people. Just do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. Go around
Do
the
you have any recommendations, Gavin, for where they might get some fiscal literacy? Are you going to start?
Crack a fucking book of any kind to begin with, and like just start there and then go from there, and like maybe take a math class, like actual math class, not weird ones.
Read Basic
Not-
Economics by Thomas Sowell. Read Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Read there's
Dave
that's- yeah,
Ramsey is actually really good. Really good.
solid.
I
Yeah.
would say really annoying.
Pay attention to your bank account, like just little things,
Yeah. Create a budget. Start a budget.
Ignore the web.
Know what a budget is for.
Yeah.
Know what a budget is and is
Mhm.
for, and stick to it as best
Yeah.
you can.
I've had to learn all this stuff later in life than I should have, and it's been difficult and painful.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that even though I knew some of it, my stubbornness, didn't apply it until later.
Mhm.
But anywho,
Well,
But-
Liz, where can
Chris
everybody
says-
find you on the internet?
Yeah.
What
Here.
does Chris says?
what
Oh,
does Chris says? Oh yeah,
the
Trudeau.
budget will balance itself.
Yeah.
Mr. Trudeau.
That's true.
That's what I heard.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but folks, pay attention. It hasn't happened. It's not working. Don't do that.
Just give it more time. It's fine.
Yeah, more time.
What if you get divorced? Will it balance itself then?
Well, that depends. I don't know.
I don't know. What are his alimony payments going to be? I mean, she's used to jet setting to the Aga Khan's island and everything. Like,
Yeah, but isn't her family the one that got all the money from the charity scandal, the We scandal? So
Yep.
no, that was
loaded.
Did they get
It's
it?
her family. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it
both
was
of their
her. It
families.
was her and Trudeau's mom.
Oh, okay.
But who got all the payments for the non-disclosure? Oh no, that was somebody else. No, that's never mind.
Shady. Just follow the money. You can only find me here. I mean, if you know where to find me on the internet, you can try and get a hold of me, but I'm not really paying
Just
attention
remember,
these days.
slide into her DMs, as she said earlier.
Send her memes.
Yeah.
All
mean-
of the memes.
Memes are good.
Yeah.
I do have people that send me memes and they're usually pretty hilarious. And a couple of people, we've plotted some pranks, so beware.
Careful with the plotting on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh
The
no,
visit
not
from
those kind
Ceaseless.
not those kind of pranks, guys. Like no.
Yeah.
I may be a little slow sometimes, but I'm not dumb.
I believe you.
I'm glad somebody does, but
Given that we've been talking for almost 90 minutes, I believe you're not dumb.
I can just talk. So
That's better than most, yeah.
Well, no,
Peter,
you
we're-
can think that's better than most.
there
That's
you go.
true. Where can everybody find you, Peter?
I'm working. Don't call me. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
Unless you'd like to get a quote on
For 2024.
bricks for you.
That's
Yeah,
awesome though.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I'm on Gilded sometimes. I go and check the memes. That's about it.
Right? It's all
You can
about
slide into
memes.
Peter's DMs with the memes too.
Yeah.
I might figure out where a DM is on Gilded one day.
I'll send you a meme. Don't worry.
It's a
Nice.
fancy way of saying messages.
I send messages to Chris in his DMs on Gilded and tell him how sultry his voice sounds on the radio at the base.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, Chris is pretty good on the radio.
It's true.
Yeah, it's almost like he should podcast with his friends
When
on the internet.
I got to hear him do one radio check over the weekend. It's
Nice.
good times.
Gavin, where can everybody find you?
Well, when I'm not talking to Chris in his DMs about his incredibly smooth vocal stylings, you can find me on Instagram, UrbexGTA.
If you've listened to the show this long, you really do deserve that discount code. If you're using Shopify to shop with us, which you are if you're shopping at Ragnarok Tactical, you should use discount code Patriot at checkout. Save yourself some money. Get $10 shipping. Please clean up my inventory. All of these things would be wonderful. I have to apologize to Rod Giltaca. We couldn't get Rod on the show tonight. For all of our listeners out there in podcast land, I'd like to remind you that you are a small fringe minority with unacceptable views.